can I make more revenue but still have cash flow issues?
Really, when we start to look at this, I find most business owners that I start working with, the vast majority of them are doing a thing that I call bank accounting. So they're looking at what's in the bank and what immediately has to come out of the business, with very little focus in terms of actually, the revenue that's coming in, and more importantly, the available operational cash flow. So any business that you run and operate, you need to have available cash flow to be able to function. There's a thing out there, and I'll say this, and I suspect a number of you will resonate with this, either personal experience or being close to the wire, or you've seen it yourself. Businesses can grow broke. You can have an amazing income stream, you can have an amazing pipeline, but you then run out of cash. If you run out of cash, your business is dead in the water. And so actually understanding how money works and how it moves through the business is incredibly important. So for instance, do you know how much it costs for the service or product that you provide? What we would term as the cost of goods or the cost of service. And in knowing that, do you then have the ability to be able to, have the structure and the disciplines and the focus behind making sure that you have, the available funds? Do you know what your expenses are? Have you got an idea in terms of, your debtor days? One of the things I often come across is when, businesses find themselves in this situation, they're sat on, a debt within their ledger, within their accountancy software, and they've not chased it. They've not gone after it. And, as a result, that money is sat in a client's bank account and not in yours, even though you've done the work. We often get so focused on operations and generating revenue, we stop to take breath and focus on the lifeline of any business, which is that operational cash flow. So put in place the strategies, understand how money moves through your business, set up a cash flow forecast so that you can actually see and ward off problems. Put some structure behind your pricing policy. Again, if you're a company that has a significant cash gap, and that's a whole nother story, by the way, then it might well be that you have a look at what the payment terms and payment structure looks like. Have a debt process and a debtors process so that you've actually got structure behind invoices going out. Educate your clients on when and how payments are to be received. That's really just touching the tip of the iceberg on this one. Finances in businesses is probably one of the most crucial aspects, and yet one of the areas that most business owners often avoid, stick their head in the sand, and hope that that any problems go away. They won't. You need to make sure that you're financially literal, that you understand how money moves through your business, and actually how you can actually then put systems and processes in place to protect that.